right, we'll call this, this would be the September Building and Grounds meeting to order. We're doing it at the end of August because Labor Day will be when our normal meeting time is at, so we all just decided to have it now. I'll go on and call roll. Commissioner Hogan.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Clover.
Here.
Commissioner Bowens.
Here.
And I'm here. Makes a full committee. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes if everybody's had a chance to overlook them. All right, got a motion by Commissioner Glover and a second by Commissioner Hogan. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll go right on into you first, Trey.
Okay, first item I had on the my agenda, what I'm to present is DMV DOS updates. Of course, as you all are aware, it's been going on for several months now. Last weekend, believe it or not, the state finally did get their furniture moved in. They were shut down. Well, I guess it was the weekend before. They shut down the Friday before and a Monday and Tuesday. Got all their furniture in, everything moved out and new furniture put in. Then this past weekend on Saturday and part of the day Sunday, we had a company down there that stripped and cleaned and waxed, buffed those VCT floors, the existing and the new in the restrooms, and they really look good. I'm surprised that they came out as nice as they did. That furniture had been sitting on it for 10 to 15 years, and it was pretty bad in places, but it looks really good. With that, I think I've given everybody a copy of an Excel spreadsheet. I want to go through, we'll start at the very back, on the second sheet at the bottom. I know we've beat this to death, but we estimated the project cost at $60,000. We said, be safe, let's budget 70. And we've been in really good shape. However, if you look on there, actual costs to date are $68,461.09. We're a lot closer to that 70 than I wish we were, which only leaves us $1,538.91. Now, if you go back to the first page, most all of the work is done down there. There's just a couple of things left. What has really impacted the budget, though, is item number 7, which was not even on there, unforeseen plumbing repairs. And Joe and Jason can chip in on this. We've had $13,000, as you can see, in unforeseen plumbing repairs that, depending on how you want to classify them, weren't originally part of the renovation. But we got in there and we had to do it. There's a day or two. One day they had to shut down early, being the DMV, and another day or two they thought they were going to have to. Joe, do you want to give them just a brief summary of how y'all got called every week?
Well, it was every Thursday. We'd get a phone call every Thursday between 12:30, 10 minutes to 1, water, sewer backing up. And we started from that first time and we started finding problems. We had to call in 5 Star that had a camera. They'd run the camera, we'd find a problem, found double 90s everywhere, and that's not good in a sewer line. So we fixed that. The next Thursday, stop up again. We'd call them back down there and run and find another problem. We'd fix that. It happened 3 times, I think we had. Wound up out in the parking lot, chiseling up the parking lot. They had to come out, and it dove into a 90 with a clean out to another sweet 90 and a Y, and it was stopped up right there. I mean, when he put the jetter to it, it flowed stuff from out to the highway. So they changed and fixed all of that. Now, then we changed the toilet back to a 1.5 gallon flush, get more water in there. We ain't had a problem, knock on wood, we ain't had a problem in 2 weeks. So hopefully we got it all, Trey's got it straightened out now.
So you're telling me that your labor is not figured in here?
No, not at all.
I mean,
And
it would have cost us a lot more.
Yeah, like Joe's crews, Jason Eastman have been very responsive and showed up and above and beyond duty. And that's not even counted in your right,
Yeah,
their time.
that's what I'm saying.
And that's significant.
So except for with our money that we had budgeted for this, we've stayed in budget except for.
Well, we are, but I'm not done with it.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying with the stuff that we didn't have.
Right.
You know.
There's one other wild card that I want to go over. Item 9 is not it. All we lack is Joe and them going to go down there and replace some ceiling tile. We're getting very close to doing that. I don't know if that'll cost $1,000. That'll be whatever the materials are. here's the wild card we've run into. Of course, as you all are aware, we want to sell that building, and we want to, in good faith, be able to say the building is in good shape. Item number 14. The whole deal with the plumbing, I think Joe and Jason would agree with this. Whenever those additional renovations, cutting it into offices and all that was done, it appears that possibly that plumbing work was not ever inspected or done to code. Well, we think we have that taken care of. However, number 14, we could have a similar problem with the electrical. Now, I don't know how extensive it's going to get. I got a guy that's took a while to get an electrician. They're covered up. I finally got a guy that's going to come down there and circuit trace and test everything. And that's on your list there at $1,400. Then it'll pin the results of his findings as to what we have left to do. And Clyde Richard has advised that we do not put the bid out to sell the building until we are sure with a clear conscience we have this taken care of. With that said, we're going to need more money. I don't know how much. So, Keith, there's somebody, I guess my question tonight is, what do you all want to do money-wise? Wait and see what it comes up to be, talk about more money tonight or whatever. But I don't think we're going to be able to finish out the electrical for $1,500.
What do you think you could do?
I've heard it could be as high as $20,000. But I'm hoping that won't be the case. But if it's like the plumbing, there's a good chance it could be like the plumbing at $13,000.
Just like to get a hard number, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'd suggest that, 'cause, I mean, you'd hate for this to hold up selling the building when, you know.
We'll do, the electrician's supposed to be there in the next 2 weeks, so I hope prior to our next meeting, I'll be able to present it. It's Jared Wood.
Oh, yeah, I know Jared.
2 or 3 others I contacted. One of them couldn't get there for 6 months. The other one couldn't be there for 6 weeks. It's just hard to get these people. They're covered up. But we were fortunate to be able to get him.
So he said he'd come out.
Yes, sir.
He's a good guy too.
Yeah. He's not looking to just fix something that doesn't need fixing. He's going to work with us. And I want to say one other thing. If it wasn't for Jason and Alex and Joe and their crews, we'd be in a mess. They went down there and temporaried in the electrical that was needed for the DMV to open up. They totally moved their big workstation 180 degrees. And Joe's guys, Jason and Alex, went down there and got everything temporaried in last week for us. And I really appreciate him doing that. And that's cost is not reflected in here either. But that's all I had on the DMV. I'd be willing to try to answer any questions that you may have.
What are you describing when you say temporary in? Is it got to be inspected or further work got to be done on that?
I might let Jason attack it. It's all legal and code, but there's a lot more circuits they may need. Jason, would you help us on that?
Yeah, it was like 21 circuits because each one of their power poles has got 3 circuits in each power pole. Well, we only had 5 circuits extra in the panel box. Every panel box down there is full because they come in from one side and they would bootleg over and put another panel over, and they just did that. So we had 5 spots to put in. We put that 5 in. We use those 5 to feed
Just a workstation.
just the workstation. And we don't, or there needed to be 21 individual circuits at what the state wanted. So we tied 3 together on one circuit just to get them up and running.
And the way I see it's gonna have to be done, you're gonna have to come off of one panel if you can get a double pole breaker in it and feed you another sub panel into that building. As long as the load, that's the big key. That's what Jared will have to do, give you a load on it. As long as the load of the building can handle another sub panel, you'll be good. But, you know, I don't know, it's in, electrical's in the worst mess, I think, than the plumbing.
I mean, and plus you don't know the way Hosey had it cut, the building cut up. You got a panel over here, you don't know what it feeds, if it feeds anything on this side of the building.
Yeah, it's
Because right now the DMV's got a little bitty panel in their break room. We don't know what all it controls.
we don't know if it controls some on Caleb's side, some on the DMV side.
It was just hacked up.
So when did
It's
you
like a
say he
lawnmower.
could come out?
He's to be there within 2 weeks, September 15th or so. give or take.
Will he be able to figure out what,
He's gonna spend at least 2 full days there tracking everything down, and then he'll generate a list of recommendations to us as to what he recommends to be done. And it's good, he'll be able to do most of that while they're operating. You won't have to be there at night or weekend.
but he has equipment or wherewithal to go in each panel and know
Yes.
what's feeding what?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Trey, with all the changes and they have rearranged their stations, I know they allowed us $70,000 that we could take and add to our rental or lease fees, right? Is there any room to budge upward off that 70,000 and not causing a major conflict because we are having to rework some electrical work into the main panel, from the main panel? Would it be any, could we get another $5,000 from allotment from them? Do it, but have them to repay us since they have done some changes in their organization.
Clyde would have to address
The lease
it. The way I read the
is
lease,
signed.
it's all on us.
It's all on us, okay.
Yeah.
But I know that the 70,000 we had worked in to increase the lease for them. And I didn't know because there were some changes that went over 70,000 now.
But we can't put shoddy work back on them.
I understand,
You
okay.
know,
Yeah.
just to say that we need to raise the lease.
I agree with Eric. I mean, I know you want an honest answer. A lot of it, if I was them, I would say, this is repairs and meeting basic
Right.
code, not renovation.
I understand, but, with them changing some things, I'm just asking, are there
That's a
some
good
legal?
question.
I will say, when Trey gets through with this building, I think it's gonna be in good shape.
Yeah.
A lot better shape than it was when we got it, but hopefully it just be, we can do a sub panel, load study and sub panel and be out of there.
So you'll get with him and come back with us with a hard number, so we'll be able to have a hard number pretty close.
Yes.
Didn't it?
Okay, second item I had is just so, I guess, make you aware of the solid waste concrete push wall. They've been under duress or under pressure from TDEC to get that in compliance. When they load trash, part of the wall is broken through and trash falls out onto the ground. And we finally got those plans done, and that's been advertised. The bid opening is going to be on Tuesday, September 15th at 1:30 p.m. Tuesday, September 15th, 1:30 in this room. This Thursday at 10 a.m., if any of y'all want to come, this Thursday, September 3rd at 10 a.m., we're going to have a pre-bid meeting on site. The structural engineer will be there to help answer any questions. That's Todd Walker with K&S Engineering from Clarksville.
That's nice, there will be on site.
Man, that opening is September the what?
15th,
At one-
Tuesday the 15th at 1:30. And then that pre-bid meeting is this Thursday the 3rd at 10 a.m. The next item, number 3, is on solid waste also. I know Judge Glover would know, and some Russian too, that building, existing solid waste building, likely has some issues that need to be addressed. The engineer that's doing the structural inspection was out there last Friday. By the time I got there, he had already left. I'm not sure he's finished. May have to make another trip, and he will be giving a report on that, what all he deems needs to be repaired, and he's going to prioritize it on, need to get it done immediately, or Mike can wait a while. But,
You're talking about the shed and the supports and
yes,
stuff?
the original building that I guess was built,
Is Todd doing that?
Todd's doing that
That's
too.
what I thought, okay.
I know there were several concerns there that he was to look at, and I should have that report back from him within the next week or so.
Is he basically going to look at what has caught fire out there in that portion? Was that what
He's looking at that whole
whole
facility,
facility?
the open shed area and an enclosed area. Okay, everything. Okay, the third item I have, and you should have a copy of it. We talked about this last month, I guess, and Mr. Harvey Combs was here. I've given you a copy of a proposal from Clover Engineering. Of course, Mr. Clover, one of his engineers, Josh Lyon, was already working with Harvey Combs on this, already has some data on the site, topography and whatnot. And he has sent us a proposal for $4,500 And that would be, he would come back with a concept layout in more detail, actual figure, some estimated quantities on cuts, how much stone you might get into, rock, limestone, culverts that would have to be go on each end, probably substantial drainage culverts on each end, cost of the road, et cetera, to give us a little better idea of what kind of money we would be looking at spending if we chose to do this project. Wouldn't be a design set of plans, but it would be a more detailed concept set of plans with some estimates on quantities. Just looking at it, I don't see any way that it would be less than $500,000 and could likely be as much as $1 million. You've got 1,500 or 1,600 feet of road and sewer. You've got at least a 35-foot cut off the top of that hill. The Robertson County, I know you're likely going to get into stone of some sort. It could be blue limestone. Your sewer coming down through there, your road, you're going to do an 80-foot right-of-way, industrial type road. That's what I would count on in all your engineering, your surveying, legalities of swapping right-of-way and whatnot. Easily would be $500,000 to $1 million. He will give us a more detailed estimate on that. So I guess my question is, what do you want to do with the proposal? And then I'll turn it over to Eric, whoever, for general discussion.
Well, I'm just kind of wondering, what if we went back to Mr. Combs and said, look, we'll offer you an easement, you give us some land, you do the digging.
Right, the figure you threw out there, $500,000 to $1 million, is that including building a road and all that?
Yeah, I mean, if you used $150 a foot on the sewer because of the rock, the depth it'll have to go, even after you do the excavation, if you used a couple $100 a foot on the road.
What if you just granted him the easement and put our sewer line in? So we get the property from him, don't build a road, because we don't need to build a road through there. My personal opinion, we don't need a road through there. But it could be attractive for something else.
You could do a land swap, acres for whatever. Bob and I were talking about, though, and I know y'all already know this, we'd have to be careful on the wording. We're not really doing a land swap. He would deed us 2 or 3 acres, or whatever y'all determined you wanted, but we wouldn't want to deed him an 80-foot right-of-way in his name. That needs to be a public right-of-way or easement that he could use to run sewer. And he could run gravity sewer or pump sewer, whichever he chose, if he chose to put the sewer in. To put gravity sewer in, you're going to have to do the grading off the top of that hill. You might as well do the grading for the road. And that's what would get expensive on the sewer if you didn't do the road also.
Mr. Clover, when we went out there, we looked all over the place and looked at several different avenues. I could even see us not necessarily going straight down from where they are putting that casing under the road, going straight down. It may angle off if we never decide to do a road back through there. And I think this $4,500 could tell us that with the engineering part and give us an idea of what we can do. And I don't see why we can't take that $4,500 out of the Red River structure and let that be part of the development out there. And let's see what we have. Now, I talked to Trey about on the upper end or south, I'd say the south end of we've got the old farmhouse where it used to be, and the graveyards up there. We got some things we may not want to go south with it. And we can't go too far because the property lines are going to catch us. But there's some avenues that we could, and we just don't know. And I think the Clover Engineering folks know more money than it is. It's a lot of money for me, but I think it would be a good investment for our county to at least look at that and use it as a Red River project in this structure, not hurt our budget, but handle it from that standpoint. I think it'd be a good investment for the future. I don't think we'd ever build a road down through there in our lifetime, but it could be in the future. And as Mayor Vogel, you said, we may not want to have that piece of property too long. But if we did have a sewer line down through there, get some people to tap onto it, the main line down by the convenience center down there, it could add a little value to that property. And I don't think that $4,500 would be a token at that time. I think it'd be a little bit of an improvement. We can handle it.
How many acres do we have there now?
What?
How many acres is on that side of the road?
50.
If you did choose to go with the Clover proposal, I think it would help, as Bob says, to give them, narrow it down on some directive and not shotgun everything. We might get more specific information about, hey, we are or are not going to build a road at this time, so focus on anything like that would help get more accurate figures.
Just afraid that we put it up too far as far as those graveyards, that graveyard's concerned. We'll have some issues there in the future. And we do not have any road frontage on 431. We do on the county farm road down there, but that little extra road frontage would add value to that little 50 acres. And if we look at things right, Springfield, one of these days, is going to move in that direction to 430, to interstate out there. And it'd be prime for some Red River money. We've already spent some out there to put that water line in. I just think a little engineering money would be good there. I think it will pay us back in the future.
You concur, Trey? I mean, y'all have talked about it. I know you just.
$4,500 is not much to find out what you'll find out.
Right.
But, I mean, y'all are in charge of also, if you know you're not gonna do anything, you're not gonna do anything out there at all, then no, I wouldn't spend $4,500. But if you're going to, you're not gonna find out your answer is much cheaper than that.
I just think if the Red River Fund would pay for it, yeah. But if not, I'm for going to Mr. Combs and saying, hey, we'll give you this through here, you give us some land.
For our bargaining rights, as far as Mr. Combs is concerned, we may get another acre of property. Instead of going 2 or 3, he talked 3 or 4 the other night.
Yeah, but he
And we
needs us
talked 2 or
worse than we
3
need
swap. But we could be a little easier at that table
Yeah.
if we know we're gonna do this right here. And we're not in a hurry. That's one thing about it. We don't have to negotiate this thing right now.
And if he puts in the sewer line, he will control who can tap into that, right?
No. I wouldn't think.
No,
No, I wouldn't think
no,
he
he would only
would
have
wanna
his
dedicate
easement.
it to the city for them to maintain, and then it would be.
Okay.
Now, he might, this wouldn't affect us, at other places I've worked, sometimes they allow the original developer or installer of said water or sewer to recoup some tap fees when others tie on.
Okay.
Instead of the tap fee going to the utility, it'll go to the developer.
But his development is on the east side of 431, right? Or is that south side? Whatever side it is across the road.
Right.
That's where the casing is going. He needs to get it to the closest spot, and that's that other line down by the convenience center.
And his sewer choice is either to gravity under the road through his casing to a pump station and then pump it up and over the hill, or us or he or whoever cut all that hill out and gravity down the hill.
It's gonna be cheaper for him if he just has an easement to put in a pump station. Is that correct?
I would say so. Depends on the spec that the city, Springfield Water, Wastewater puts on him on that pump station. But he can get into a lot of excavation going through that 35-foot of cut. And your sewer's got to be less than that. I mean, go deeper than that, another 5 or 7 feet.
Yeah.
So he could be 40, 42 feet in the ground to his deepest point.
But let me ask you this, Trey, would this help his development on the other side of the road? Can we get new tax dollars from the development that he's gonna do on the other side of the road with whatever he's gonna put in, those condos and housing on that side? Wouldn't that bring in tax dollars for us as well?
I think that whole area will develop. And I don't think a Pleasant View type development, what's that called? The Village, is that it?
The villages, yeah, that's right.
Is unreasonable out there. It's a really good location, but sewer is the key thing that they have to have. The gas and the electric and the water doesn't depend on gravity. In the sewer, what you're fighting, I would get it out there.
All right, I'll make a motion. We approve the $4,500.
I second that motion.
All right, got a motion by Commissioner Glover and a second by Commissioner Hogan. Ready to
Question.
vote? Question being called. Ready to vote? Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Hogan,
Yes.
Commissioner Glover,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowens,
Yes.
and I'm a no. All right, 4-1. Motion passes.
Okay, can I ask y'all, what directives do you wish for me to give Mr. Clover or Mr. Line regarding to focus the study on? No road going in, no grading by us, or yes grading by us, or?
Could you give us an option, 1 and 2, going straight or going?
Big issue would be, do you see us doing the road or the road grading at this time? Or is it more for us, the land swap and what would it cost? Gravity sewer versus pump sewer?
I got one other thing.
I'm against the road. I'm against spending $1 million for a road.
I got one other thing on this 4,500. Where's it gonna come from?
That wasn't in the motion.
Okay.
We'll have to find that one way or the other. We have the options to go to the Red River Committee and say, Mr. Keith,
I'll ask
Okay.
Clark.
Yeah. see if that's it. Not surely we can scratch up $4,500 somewhere,
We'll find
since they pump water out there for about 84 for Johnson.
All right. Motion passes. We'll move right along.
Okay, last thing I had was, I want people to say, the archive retaining wall is done. And they got the sod put back and all, and of course, it hadn't been long enough to see if it's gonna leak, but so far it hasn't leaked.
That's good.
So they got up there and did it in about a week's time or so. And I believe that's all I had.
Did they figure out, were they pretty sure that,
Yeah, they found a spot that looked like it was leaking. Where the brick had separated.
It's definitely leaking there.
What did we spend on that? No,
Well, they didn't have to do everything they initially thought, so it wound up $9,050
sweet.
instead of
A little better
$14,000.
than- Yeah, I thought it was around 14 or 15. I forgot.
so they
We
did
saved
take the
some money
wall
when it
down?
comes back.
One of the things I thought I want to thank Joe and his crews on this. The drainage issues down here, we said we was going to try to attack it in 2 phases. Joe and Jason and their guys have already got phase 1 done with replacing some gutter downspouts and whatnot. So we hope that'll help that. If not, we'll put a trench drain in down there. That's all I have.
All right. We'll move right along to Joe.
Well, as y'all can see, I only have one issue. I don't know how many of y'all know at the Chancery Court, we had a lady trip on the carpet going in the door and fell. The mayor knows about it. Mayor and I was up there, and that carpet is all to pieces in that Chancery Court. It's parts where it's this wide and nothing but no carpet. The carpet's gone. And with that being said, I got prices, which I got an informal quote bid. I got Flooring Center, which is, they want carpet squared. He don't have the bid on carpet squared, so you have to quote it out. The Flooring Center, Carpet One, no quote. He just pretty much told me he wouldn't quote it for me. He said he'd take my number and call me back, but Mitch don't want. He said be honest, he said, I tell you, every time I quote anything, I never get the job. I can't help you there, but, and then I reached out to this Chapman Flooring out of White House, and you can see there, the prices. Jerry Whitaker was $2,006, $1,479. No quote from Mitch, and then Chapman was $4,376.84, and that's for the same Mohawk carpet square, 26 ounce. So,
Lady that fell wasn't a county employee, but she was a lawyer. Hey, she missed work over. Yeah, she done had it. I mean, she did it. The carpet's so ragged, her shoe hung in the rabbits, it's sticking up. When you go in that office, it's worse than that.
yeah,
I mean, it's,
Talking about Chancery office.
yeah.
this lady fell just as soon as you walk in.
Yeah.
And face planted, the way I understand it.
In the courtroom?
No.
No, in
in
there.
the office.
That little square when you go
Yeah,
from window
yeah.
to chance,
Okay.
she went right there through the wall with her head. Missed work over. Anybody else would probably be. I'll tell you. Her husband did come in and said, y'all looking for a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Well, how did we get to that spot though?
Yeah.
How did we get to that form of flooring in our business here? Who overlooked something?
Well, it's just.
Maybe we just cleaned it to death, you know?
That flooring was, and that does happen. I'm glad you said that. Some people want their carpet cleaned once a month.
Yeah.
Well, that just tears it up.
It does.
Once a year is probably all you want to clean your carpet. But with that being said, somewhere, somehow down the line, a piece come up in it, somebody just pulled it, I'm sure. Or a vacuum cleaner hung it. And when it does, it just starts unraveling. And that is 2004 model carpet. So, that, with all the traffic in and there, in that office, way it is, it's about seen its life. but it's up to you guys, whether you wanna.
Well, I think that's, Bob's question was, who does it fall on to keep us abreast of what's going on, Joe?
Well,
I would say it's a big department head in that office.
yeah, because we don't go back in there unless we're called back there to work on something. Or my floor guy is called back there to clean it. And,
Does housekeeping?
yes, housekeeping does it.
Well,
Well, she wasn't in the office, she was just going in the little lobby there.
So we
In
need
the
to
office,
get it
in the
fixed
office
either
part,
way.
it's worse than that.
Make a
And,
motion,
uh,
move it through.
You know,
has there ever been any conversation with house cleaning about making you aware of some, you know?
They've not come to me.
Well, but my question
Yeah.
is, do you ever communicate with them? Have you ever?
Trust me, I communicate with housekeeping every day.
Yeah, but I mean, is any need, can we anticipate any help from them, or is it are we gonna have to have the flooring in each building inspected once every 6 months or
With that
something?
being said, I put
Yeah.
a new guy on the third day of this month, a
Yeah.
new flooring guy, he's got 52 years of experience.
Yeah.
And he set up a flooring schedule. In the past, the guys that we've had really, they've been here too long, you know, basically, and they done got laxed in their job, and this guy, he's doing it right. He set up a floor schedule, he's going by, he's looking, checking, so y'all may see him in your office sometime, he'll be looking whether it needs cleaning or whatever, damaged or whatever,
But Joe, this one particular issue, it's had to get pretty bad for that lady to trip over the
No,
rags.
it's where you come in the office, not inside the office.
So was it the seam at the door? Or?
Well, it's a little bit of both. That old courthouse has got a marble lip this high.
Yep.
And the carpet comes up to the backside of the marble lip. It just so happened that some of that carpet had come loose, you know, on the backside. But she probably tripped on the marble step up.
Well, see, when you was explaining, I could see it rambling out of something like that.
Oh, it is inside the office.
Okay.
It is somewhere, somehow, somebody pulled it, or maybe a vacuum cleaner hit it and pulled it, and, you know, Berber carpet, it just comes apart.
it's a seam that's been wearing out for a long time.
We need to watch that and make
Is
sure we
this
get
something
that
that they-
cleaned up.
Well, this will not happen again with this type. This is carpet squares. We got one that comes up, it's only gonna go within a 2-foot square. You can rip it up, put a new one down.
Well, even if we had them back then, it still had to have attention to it to take that square up and put back down.
Right.
That's where we messed up. It's
Yeah.
not getting that fixed, so that wouldn't happen. So we need to have a checklist to make that work. And Joe, that kind of falls on your department, but I think the judge as well needs to be involved with it. We got problems. Let's fix this.
Yeah.
And so you're just gonna have to keep us informed of, and the bids, whoever got the bids, that's great. I think it needs attention real quick. We don't need another lawsuit.
That's up to you guys. I'm bringing it to you. Yeah, and it's just hard to keep up with everything when you got a department like I had with housekeeping. Don't have it now, knock on wood. But they've been too set in their job, been here too long, needed to leave, basically. So, and I can't keep up with everything. I got 17 buildings, guys. And, you know, if I walk in there, I may overlook a piece of carpet.
Tell you what, the carpet we tore out of Fair Supply is 300 times better than what's in there.
So do our department heads over there, do they need to keep up with this and send in like some kind of checklist to
If
you or
they
something?
seen a piece of carpet peeling up, she should have called us right then.
If I see it in the mayor's office, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah.
I mean, do they have a work order or something they send in to
They
you?
do.
I mean, they call that,
Yeah, when
look
they
up
use it,
everything else.
Lee Ann, he's clumsy anyway, so yeah.
I think I'm talking
They,
about.
a lot of people will not use
That's
the
what
work
they
order.
budget for.
And when you send a work order in, it goes to housekeeping, goes to mine and Jason and everybody else's phone, that we get it immediately. We don't, it's not something that goes to a computer and then it goes to every one of our computers. So we're
What you
giving
gotta do,
everybody
Joe,
every
before you
kind of
do
option to
anything?
do it, but
Maybe the mayor needs to get out of the department.
What do you gotta do before you do anything, Joe?
I gotta call the sheriff.
Call this.
Call who?
The sheriff, before I do anything.
Wait a minute, back that statement up.
Before I do anything, I have to call the sheriff and then go to the mayor.
Before you
sheriff-
clean the floor and everything, or
He
just
has
in,
to say so on what to do at the courthouse.
I mean,
Was he over the department?
If I'm
heads?
not, mayor?
yeah,
get
that's
me out
right,
of
that's
here.
the law, I know the law. But how's it gotten to that point?
I don't have a clue.
Has it been recent?
Recent, I told a connection fit last week. He changed 2 locks down in the basement, and the sergeant come to my office, and I said something about it, and I said, well, I'll get you a key. No, I'm going to the judge. I called the sheriff, and I said, I done tried to fix this problem. I said, we're gonna put the old locks back on.
Yeah.
And really, they ain't got no business being in that basement.
It's a state law saying
Yeah.
they should not ever go in that one
I
room.
told Joe, now, you change the damn hangnail in there, you call the sheriff first.
And I did have a meeting with the sheriff. If they go in there in the elevator room and cut it on and off, it's not my responsibility. I told the sheriff, I said, it's yours.
Well, he is responsible for the courthouse and its
Security, anything that happens.
That's right.
So you're talking about the maintenance over the building, basically? Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Anything
That's
at
what
the
I'm trying to get
courthouse,
to.
we gotta let the sheriff know.
All I'm over is maintenance, that's it.
So the sheriff's over
I
all the
done been
department
wrote up
heads and
on
everything?
boards.
For the courthouse, he gives you the yay or nay.
Well, does he need to be at every building and grounds meeting?
No, Joe just needs to tell him when he's fixing to go over and change the lock.
I'm just gonna tell him, if y'all approve it, I'll say, go to the sheriff, I'm gonna say, hey, we're changing the carpet and change the record.
See, they've done that Christmas play out there, that movie. They put that snow, Ryan Martin called me and says, we're gonna have a fire truck over there tomorrow afternoon to spray the whole front of the courthouse, cause of snow. I said, Ryan, you better call the sheriff when you do it. But he did, but they went and sprayed it off. The next day I had a department head come to my office because her windows were spiked. And I said, why are you telling me? I ain't the one that gave you permission to have the play. Well, you're maintenance, ain't you? You know, I've been kind of crossway since. I mean, I'm not going by the movie people to clean windows when they spray it with a fire truck.
I guess my thing, what I'm saying here is that are the department heads, are we making them accountable for
They need to be.
telling
They need
judge?
to be.
I mean,
They're the ones that need to help keep up their department.
so does the mayor have to tell everybody in this building, the sheriff tells everybody across the street?
Well, the mayor got
The
control.
mayor's over this part of the building, but anything to do with courtroom security or inside them walls, it's up to the sheriff.
Well, does he get any orders out of the judges?
Sure he does, yeah.
You had it, talk to
Yeah, I
Judge
had a
Goodman?
judge come get on me about 2 porta potties outside the building one day.
Yeah, I remember something.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you, those porta potties wasn't even on our property.
it wasn't even on our property. And I didn't give permission, I just told him I didn't care what it was.
Did you start any riots in Michigan? I don't know that.
No.
Hey, you got to go through a chain of command.
That's
And
right.
that's what me and Joe's gonna do. But we don't wanna be blamed about stuff getting changed, about nobody knowing it. When they put that carpet in, we went to do it on Saturday. So I got to go to him and, cause we're gonna be in there, probably gonna have security in there.
Where does that money come out of for that carpet?
I don't know, that's what I'm gonna ask you guys, if y'all wanna take it out of $7.99.
Do they not have money over there?
He take that $7.99, we ain't got a choice but to replace it.
We're fixing to take 16,000 and something out of it for the tube system. So we're gonna drop 20 grand off that 7.99. 19 grand,
But they don't have any money budgeted over there for anything?
no. She said, Rosemary said she didn't, so
Rosemary said, what?
she didn't have any money to replace that carpet.
I called some other mayors, I said, man, I'm kicking cane about this building.
Maybe the
You're
sheriff's
gonna
got
learn
money.
right quick that all you're over is maintenance, that's it.
What's the sheriff got?
Don't y'all remember that movie Walking Tall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big stick.
When the sheriff put the mayor in that bathroom,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
that's the first thing they told me at Murfreesboro when the commissioners and the mayor had their, what do you call it, breaking in. I think the second sentence they said was the sheriff is over all the court. Period.
Well, you can change a little bit. You can put the judge out on the street.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that way with general sessions. I mean, we didn't get into that. I mean, we called maintenance if we needed something, so we didn't have the sheriff involved. And I don't know whether it was because it was in this building or not. I mean, it never came up to us.
I don't know, maybe
Well,
it's
obviously,
because
we got
you
no
were
choice but
judge.
to fix it. We got no choice but to fix it.
And we had a different sheriff.
Mr. Chairman,
Exactly.
I move that we adopt that
A way to work this.
flooring
down.
center bid,
Yeah,
2614. He
y'all
didn't have to
wanna
get the
approve to
bids.
do
I think
this,
he's within his
and we
limits
gonna
on
get it done.
that.
All I'm gonna
and
do
take
is
it out of the
start- I go there to his
799.
office and say, hey, here, we're changing the carpet in the.
Okay, y'all ready? All right, listen, y'all listen up. We're gonna move along with this. All right, Commissioner Hogan.
Well, I move that we accept the bid that Joe has received from Flooring Center, Jerry down there of 2614.79, and then have that flooring replaced as soon as possible. And then we'll take it out of your $799, and if we need more money coming out of that, we'll be like Lay's potato chips, we'll make more.
That's in the form
That
of a
is not part of the motion. Yeah, that's my motion.
All right,
I'll second.
we got a motion by Commissioner Hogan, second by Commissioner Moore. All right,
Question.
question being called. All right, Commissioner Glover, Mr. Bowens, Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner
Same here,
Hogan,
yes.
and I'm a yes. 5-0. All right, so motion passes. All right.
Joe, thanks for bringing it to us.
Yes,
If you see anything else like this, please
oh, I do.
let us know.
So how long does, when can they start on this? I mean, do they know it's gonna be a Saturday thing?
Well, it's gonna take him a week.
Is
I
it?
done told Rosemary, it'll take him a good week, 'cause he's moving all the furniture, all the technology she's gotta set up. Whoever does her technology work, they gotta unhook everything.
All right, under old business, I got one other thing. Trey, have we done anything on where the water's at down there? We decided exactly what we wanna do as far as where it's puddling?
Down here,
Yeah,
that's what I was saying earlier. Jovan's already done some gutter work,
okay, okay.
and we're gonna
That's what I
let that be
thought.
phase one. We'll see. We may have to still put a trench drain.
What we did on that, we took the drains, all, instead of having pop-ups, we took them all the way to the road that comes
Right.
in, to the drive-through.
Right.
Just dump it out on that. It can run in that big storm drain. Now, the other day, the mayor and I was out there when it come that flood last Friday.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna hold that kind of rain away. It
Oh,
was
no.
running over the gutters up on top of the building,
Yeah.
so. But it did help, didn't it, Mayor?
It helped
What we
out
done
there.
did keep the water from
Listen,
running.
my house is running over gutters at the house. I ain't worried about it.
All right, we got any more old business? Any new business?
Move with adjourn.
All right, got a motion to adjourn. Got a second.
Yeah.
All
I
in
agree.
favor?
I agree.
All right.